Hello everyone, we are back with another G.I. Joe Classified series review. I am the Brandalorian, and today we're going to take a look at the Cobra Big Boa. Now this is the Cobra fitness instructor slash combat instructor for the Army, the Cobra Army. And yeah, what else is new? I'm going to have a lot of good things to say about this guy, I anticipate. Here's a look at his artwork. He is number 114. These are his specs. Got a shot of the Big Boa on the back there. Looks like he's in some sort of cage fight via, I don't know, maybe like Roadhouse or Bloodsport or any of those 80s combat movies. That's the vibe I'm getting with this guy. Actually, quite a few different vibes I'm getting with this guy. But we'll talk about it in more detail as soon as we get him cracked open. Okay, now that we have taken Big Boa out of the packaging, let's get a closer look at him. And already, right out of the package, I'm loving what they've done with him. Let's take a close look at the head sculpt. And it's kind of hard to see with the camera, but he's got a gash on the bridge of his nose, right underneath his right eye on his cheekbone. He's got a missing tooth. And this is the first time we've seen him unmasked. The original 80s figure just came with the masked version. We've never seen him in the comics or cartoons, to my knowledge, unmasked. So this is cool for Classified to be able to give this extra layer of character. I don't know the exact history of, I've heard rumors of this character, original figure, being inspired by Rocky Balboa, which is where we get the boa from in Big Boa. I always just thought that it was closer to like a boa constrictor, since they copy a lot of snake names. But if this is a somewhat of an homage to Rocky Balboa, consider me even more of a fan, because the Rocky movies are some of my absolute favorites. So I see a little bit of Balboa in this character, but I also, with his height, I see I'm getting a little bit of an Ivan Drago phase. So if Ivan Drago and Rocky Balboa had a fusion, I feel like it would be this character, Big Boa, because he's ripped, he's tall, he's got the dark hair, he's a boxer, he's a trainer. I mean, in my headcanon, I'm going to have him be an MMA expert, a martial artist, a boxing expert, a wrestling expert, a jiu-jitsu expert. This guy's going to be a master of any and all combat, because, you know, if Cobra is going to be up to par with the G.I. Joe team members, they're going to need to be well-trained. So this guy's going to have to be well-versed in all those things. Looking at his spiked shoulder or torso harness, you've got a lot of sculpted detail in there. The buckles and the spikes. So again, we got a lot of influence for this guy. I went on about the Rocky and Drago comparisons, but with the spiked torso harness as well as his classic helmet, I'm also getting some Road Warrior, Mad Max vibes, which is also an 80s classic. No surprise there. Something we haven't really seen in Classified, and that's a little bit of violence. We've got the bloody hand wraps, which I'm really digging. So when this guy's not using his boxing gloves to train, he needs to mess up some Joes. Without gloves, he can absolutely do that. In a little bit, I'm going to pull out some other figures, because I want to see how this guy stacks up as far as his height goes. Because I can just feel that he's taller than the average figure, but I want to see how tall. So I'll grab a couple of the taller members in the Classified line. We'll take a look at him. Let's pop up his head and get a look at that classic helmet. So they stayed true to the original design, yet they just added a lot of sculpted texture and lines, as Classified usually does. This is a really cool look too, with the spiked helmet. I mean, it looks like a menacing trainer. I would not want to be trained by this guy, or would I? Because then I would probably be somewhat of a badass. His other accessories include two 90-pound dumbbells, which is really cool. Make sure everybody is on Cobra side is nice and yoked. But possibly my favorite accessory that he does come with, because as I mentioned before, I am a huge Rocky fan and combat sports fan in general. He comes with two boxing gloves, and they have the little wrist guards that are separate pieces with the Cobra emblem and then the white underneath there. Now, I mentioned I'm a Rocky fan. My favorite Rocky is Rocky IV, and I'm getting the vibe from these gloves from when the opening of Rocky IV, if any of you youngsters have seen it, when the Soviet boxing glove is colliding with the American boxing glove, and they're kind of just turning, and you see the white underneath, and then they collide. Yeah, anyway, that's what I'm feeling. Look it up if you haven't seen it. So we'll go ahead and see what those look like. This Big Boa has to have his boxing gloves on. Yeah, that looks great. That looks really, really cool. I cannot be defeated. I must break you. Yeah, that's gonna happen, whether we like it or not. And that is Big Boa. Let me pull out some other figures and let's compare his height. Okay, now we're gonna have a little height comparison with one of the taller G.I. Joe members in Gung Ho. He and Roadblock are about the same height, so I just pulled Gung Ho out. And then we have the tallest classified figure to date, and that is the Great Serpentor. So Gung Ho and Big Boa are about the same height. They have the same arms. So they've been hitting the same gym. So we've got height comparisons for three of our tallest classified figures. I think that is going to conclude our look at Big Boa. If anyone has any comments or questions, please leave them in the chat below, and we'll catch you on the next review.